Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have watched my latest short film, Drop Your Weapons, I appreciate you. And now you're here with me. And guess what? We are going to talk about it. Okay. Like I said, welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you again for checking out my short film. We will be discussing the message behind it, what inspired me, and I will be telling you a little bit about myself. And I do have a special guest that's going to be joining the conversation with us. Her name is Jazz. She is an artist herself, and she is a film embodiment coach. And yes, you're gonna want to hear the wisdom and the jewels that comes from her mouth. Okay, and she does have a digital book we will be discussing called the 10 Feminine Commandments that I've read a couple years ago. That we're gonna tell you how you can get your hands on a copy in this live. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. And before I bring her on, I do want to formally introduce myself to, let me say, the world, because I never do. I just put content out there and that's that. But you know what? It's time for me now. Okay. So, um, my name is Candace. I do go by Candace Color as of last year. Going by Candace Color as of last year. But I am an artist. And when I say an artist, I'm a full blown artist, like mostly all the way around. But what I really specialize in is realism oil painting. And I have been an artist since maybe in my teens is when I figured out that, hey, I can draw, I can paint a little bit, So I started painting more so when I got in my 20s, though. Um, Not just an artist. Another part of me that's an artist, I do design accent walls as well. And I am a graphic design artist. I do logos, animation, and things like that. I do embroidery, print on clothes, paint on clothes. I've done it all, but now I had to kind of hone in what is truly for me. So not only am I a realism or painting artist, but I am an actress as well, and a filmmaker. And I have been training for acting since 2018. I'm also a writer, and I also direct and produce my own projects as well. And I train for writing as well. And it's my craft. I truly, truly, truly love it. And I have a lot of experiences to share with you all. And I can't wait to share more experiences with you through my art. So again, I really, really appreciate you guys who checked out the film. And if you haven't checked out the film, why are you here? Why? Okay. Click out and go to the other video and then come back. We still may be here. But without further ado, if you have any more questions, just drop it in the chat and I will try my best to answer those questions for you. So, but without further ado, let's get this show on a roll. We just gonna go with the flow. That's the message behind it, so everything is gonna be all organic. Um, and yeah, so let me introduce you to Jazz. I'm gonna bring her on. She's in the green room and she is ready. Okay, y'all better get ready. Yeah, y'all clap. Okay, clap. Let me hear it. Let me hear that clap. Okay, here she is. Uh, hello,
Hey, beautiful.
hey, Jazz.
Hey, beautiful viewers and watchers. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you, girl. And I was clapping for you, not for me, because
Thank
that's
you.
egotistical. Yeah.
Thank you, Jazz. Thank you so much for joining me. So, everyone, let me just give you a quick little backstory on how me and Jazz met. Well, we haven't really officially met, but in my head, those people that be in your head, social media friends, that's who she is to me. So, we maybe a couple of years ago, we are in like an art group or something like that, and I saw some of her charcoal drawings, and I immediately befriended her, like, because I was just so blown away by her portrait drawings. You guys make sure you her IG somewhere on that, follow her and check out her art. So, but I started looking at her statuses, and her statuses were, I related to them wholeheartedly. And she started talking about feminism and femininity rather. And a couple of years ago, I really honestly didn't know about femininity like that. So she was just bringing a lot of awareness to it to me, to where I eventually started studying it, and even found my own essence in it, and let me say understood my feminine essence based on her awareness about it. So, and I eventually bought her digital book, which I mentioned earlier, and it's really really good, and it opened up my eyes even more, and I appreciated myself and being a woman even more, just with what she put out there. So that's our story, and we're sticking to it. And Jasmine, do you want to say anything?
Yes, Mama. So I just want to give you your flowers one more time because I know this is a big step for you. Hopefully you can speak more about it and let the viewers and the listeners know about you just taking a leap of faith. How you've been sitting on this gift for a while. As when I say gift, I'm talking about the short film, right? You made it over a year ago, and finally you decided to drop it and let it be viewed, right? And part of that is definitely that feminine energy of just going with the flow. Oh, that's what this is all about, and we're gonna tap into that. We're going to talk about that today, and hopefully your viewers and your followers can take something away from this conversation, and they can spark up even bigger conversation.
Oh, I love that, Jazz.
You're welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, well, I guess I hop into it. And let me just start off by saying what inspired me to write this and do this film. It came from experience. It's something that I noticed that I was doing, like I said, a few years back. That when I felt unsafe, and even though this in the film it was dealing with a romantic partner, this also these type of behaviors can appear in friend groups and in professional settings as well, if you have insecurities that you're dealing with. But when I used to feel unsafe, and when I had insecurities that I was not aware of at that time, then I noticed that my energy, it would change, and it will be more, my masculine side will be more dominant. And so that is what you seen in the film, is like when Jay, shout out to Jay, thank you, Jay. But who is the other actor in the film? I really appreciate him and his professionalism, but and him going through hell in the film. But um, when when he got back to the table and said, "Oh, your energy has changed," I was feeling insecure because I felt like he was cheating on me because he'd been looking at his phone all day. So I stopped my flow. My insecurities stopped my flow and caused chaos. And but it was all because of me and my insecurities, right? Or the character's insecurity, right? And it stopped my feminine flow. So that's why you see that I had my guards up, hence the drop your weapons, and pretty much wanted to fight with him and just be more masculine and all this crazy wild stuff. But so that's what I was trying to show in the film. And that was something that I used to deal with a lot until I had to deal with my insecurities and realize that I had to flow. I have to have a feminine flow. So that's something that me and Jasmine are going to go back and forth and talking about, is the feminine flow and what we mean by it. And for me, feminine flow really means it's like trusting your intuition, and not resisting, being comfortable and feeling safe within my own self, and setting boundaries, you know, to prevent chaos from to prevent that masculine side from coming out like that. I mean, it's a place for it, but not when you're is coming off your insecurities. So
Yes. I love that you said that because I really wanted to harp on the fact that masculine energy is not a bad thing, right? We all have feminine and masculine energy within us, no matter if you're a man or a woman. We need masculine energy to protect ourselves, to be logical, to be disciplined. Come on now, structure, getting stuff done, right? So it's just that as women, rule of thumb, majority, we have a feminine energy, just like the yin and yang sign. You see the white and then the black, and it's just on the black side is a dot of white, and then vice versa. That dot is the opposite energy of if you're a woman, it would be the masculine dot. Does that make sense? So it's like we both have that energy, we both have feminine and masculine energy within us. It's just a time and place for it, right? Because we have to be disciplined. At the same time, you got to be creative and think of ideas. That's the feminine, and then you tap into taking action, executing. That's masculine, doing, and then feminine is more being. So getting back to your film, um, first I want to say that the character of Jay, I'm glad that he seemed to have a great emotional intelligence because he picked up on the fact that your energy was off. He's like, this is not my girl right now. Who are you? Okay, this is not the birthday girl that I was just experiencing. Yeah. He knew that your energy shifted, and I think the character handled you very well after you had to be in your flow with your feminine energy and all of that, and just kind of flying off the handle and everything. I think he dealt with that really well. um and it's more so when you spoke about insecurities. I think a woman that's more tapped into her feminine energy, she can spot the phone being face down and
mhm,
just just think more before she just fly off the handle and just snap, right? Think
right.
about, okay, why is that bothering me? Has he ever gave me a reason to think he was cheating on me before? No. Okay, so maybe he don't want to be rude and have, notifications just lighting up his phone, and it's my day, it's my birthday. He wants to give me 100% attention. That's a secure feminine woman. That's the dialogue she would have in her mind versus being defensive and just thinking it's going to be a fight, right? Like you're bumping heads. Y'all on the same team
Mhm.
versus bumping heads. So you want to speak on that?
Yeah, because and I feel like that's the healthy masculine side to it, how we as women should be handling it if we have insecurities. Like that's a way to think logically about it. It's like, oh, he have his phone down. Oh, maybe it's because of this, but your intuition will tell you if it's some junk or not. But I think that's the masculine side of it. On healthy masculine side of balance for feminines is when we are able to logically perceive what's really going on, especially if we know that this is not his typical behavior, where he ever cheated on me before, or did anything like that. So I think with what you said, that's a healthy masculine version of it. That's how it should be channeled versus yeah, yeah, so
Exactly.
and which and when you're in that space, that creates that flow,
Mm.
because you beat and soothe whatever that is. And uh but that's what creates the flow. That's what that balance creates, that flow.
For sure. And even in that situation, like it would have been a more feminine approach. She could still, she as in your character could have still asked the question about, why his phone is facing downward. But it could have been just a simple question, not antagonizing, or not, what the word I'm looking for? It's not
Um,
negotiating, it's interrogating, not being interrogating, right? Just simply like, why your phone facing down? And it could, oh, I just don't like when the light flashed or whatever. It could have been simple as that, but just simply having an open conversation, and it's not using language that's accusatory, you
Right,
know? It
right.
just, you just want to get to the bottom of it. It could be nothing, but you just gotta open your mouth and find out, and just see if it was even worth saying something about it, right? But all of that internal dialogue and making that decision that goes on in your mind, a secure feminine woman would know how to navigate that.
Absolutely. Oh, you hit the nail on the head with that, you know. So it does take work to correct those things in, you know, in you if you're insecure. That's a whole nother segment that we can go into. Um but another thing that I did want to point out is a piece of the film where I did show where she was going with the flow, and what it turned into is when she um, indulged in the pleasure. And that's one thing that women need to do to, especially to feed their femininity, is enjoy pleasures, you know, and pleasures. It don't have to be sexual, you know. It can be going outside and looking at the clouds in the sky, you know. But when the character started eating that cake, even though it was by mistake, she indulged in it. She got a taste of that sweet cake, and she indulged in it, you know, and you see
Hmm.
that her energy swapped back to a woman, you know. So that's another thing that I just wanted to bring up as far as like just femininity as far as like being, you know,
Yeah.
receiving is more so, you know, feminine. So I did want to bring that aspect of it to the film as well. So
And I love that you picked up on that. And I didn't even think about that, just that indulgence in that cake, her being present, right? That's being feminine, being present, being in flow, obviously. And sensuality. Some people like to use sensuality and sexuality interchangeably, and it's not. Sensuality, the root word of sensuality is sense, right? Sense is what you see, what you taste, what you smell, what you hear, and what you feel. So she tasted that cake, right? She was one with that cake,
yeah.
right? She was one with that cake. Okay, it's just she tapped into a sensuality, which is very feminine. So I loved that play on back and forth, like the dichotomy of being defensive, being protective, being Rambo, literally, to being this soft woman who melted and became the icing of that cake. Okay.
Right, right. So yeah, thank you for that, Jasmine. And as you can see, she went back into her femininity when she felt safe again. Once he come around with the doggone balloons and, you know, flowers and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, and that's another thing too. There's not a message in there, but there's something that I want to just make a statement about now, is that, you know, we as women, we shouldn't, you know, I feel that we shouldn't rely on we shouldn't rely on our exterior circumstances to determine to make us feel safe. You know, I believe that it's up to us to trust ourselves and our intuition, to make ourselves feel safe in situations. Do you understand what I mean by that? Or
Oh, I totally do, because when you mentioned insecurity, I wanted to double back on that, because and once we totally get this, not even on a logical level, but just like it resonates, like, oh, I know my own name, that this is true. When you're secure and you feel safe in yourself, no one can play you. They can only play themselves, because when you're one with love and someone try to play you, then they just treated themselves out of love. Does that make sense?
yes.
So so
Mhm.
if someone cheats on somebody, and you're secure, if someone cheats on, I don't want to say you, but cheats on this person, right? And
Mhm.
that person is a secure feminine woman and that person is cheated on, they don't feel robbed of the relationship. They just feel like, oh, okay, but I guess the relationship has reached its end. It has
Right.
served its purpose.
Mhm.
I've learned from this, whether it's something I wanted or not, it's something I needed because I see no one but me, right? Every relationship is a reflection of you. Whether we want to receive that or not, it
Mhm.
is either a slap on the face or it's a beautiful reflection, like how I attracted you in my life and vice versa, right? We're a reflection of each other. We wouldn't have resonated for so long if we weren't. So when it comes to relationships, if you feel secure in your relationship, secure in yourself, and then something outlandish happens, it's just like, okay, all right, that's not so much. It's kind of like a double-edged sword because it is a reflection of
Mhm.
you because you did attract that into your life. So you
Mhm.
did play a part, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But it doesn't mean that you're deserving of being cheated on. That's not what I'm saying. But it's like when you're securing yourself, it's just like, oh, it's time for me to exit. Like so then you get to tap into your what is called dark feminine energy, which is standing your boundaries, having standards, and just knowing when to walk away. And then more of the light feminine energy, just being, playful and sweet
Yeah.
and yeah, being
Mhm.
like Cinderella. That's like light feminine energy. Dark feminine energy is the mystique, is the seduction, is protection. No, it's yeah, protecting yourself with boundaries and standards and just knowing when to exit stage left.
Right, right.
When you're secure, you know when to leave. So you're not going to just stand for some BS.
Right, right. I wholeheartedly over agree with you with that. And it goes back to that's being in your feminine flow. I mean, of course, it's different experiences. We sometimes, even if we didn't mean for it to happen, things happen to us. But when we're in our feminine flow, we're accepting it, the bad things that do happen to us, and we're continuing on like you said, is you played yourself, because I'm still gonna move, I'm still gonna evolve, I know who I am, and I'm still evolving and going with the flow of life. And if I have to deal with feelings and emotions, I'm gonna being in my feminine flow, I'm going to have to keep flowing. I'm going to have to process those emotions and understand the lesson behind, whatever happened that was bad that you didn't, want to happen to you, so to say.
Exactly. So, just to touch on emotions, I love that you mentioned that because we're definitely in the flow because my mind was like, let's talk about emotional intelligence really quickly. So, a woman who is secure in her femininity is a secure woman, has her head on straight and everything, has great emotional intelligence and great emotional regulation, right?
Mhm,
So a lot of people like to associate women with being overly emotional, right?
mhm,
Yeah, so but at the same time, you can see it as a gift and a curse. But if you know how to finagle that so that it works for you, it's beautiful because we're just more passionate when it comes to things, right?
mhm,
So we can be more passionate in a positive way. At the same time, when something happens and we have emotional regulation, we know not to just touch a nerve and automatically react. We respond, which is one of my commandments, y'all, in my ebook. Bring it home. We talk, we talk about that a little bit later. But
mhm,
responding, taking a moment to say, okay, why do I feel triggered right now? What is that showing about me? Or just having that internal conversation again and getting a chance to respond with your desired outcome rather than just reacting with that same energy, and it
mhm,
could be not advantageous for you,
mhm,
so emotional intelligence is knowing how to regulate your own emotions and read it in other people, like
mhm.
when they're triggered, you know is are they coming at you, or are they using you as a scapegoat or something that happened at work today? That's emotional intelligence. And that takes a wise woman, right,
Mhm.
who knows herself enough to recognize that in someone else because we're more the same than we are different. So, emotional
Right.
intelligence.
Absolutely. And one thing that I learned, I had to learn about, because, like you said, it can be a blessing and a curse, because some people can take advantage of, you being an emotional person, by, and which is something that I had to learn. Everyone is not deserving of, you know, your emotions. Mhm. Everyone is not, like I said, everyone is not fully deserving of your emotions, your heart, So I've learned that, over the years, I learned that I can't be as volunteer, over sympathetic, how my heart, because my heart is open, right? And sometimes, like, I get all emotional for a commercial, or you know what I'm saying. So I can't do that with everybody, because people will latch on to that, because at the same time, it's energy. You know what I'm saying? And some people feed off that. Some people need that, especially if they don't have that in their life, or they're not like that. But I try not to be so overly, giving my emotions over, to people, because that's where it can be occurs, where people can, like I said, just start taking advantage of you, for it. So do you get what I'm saying about that?
I do. I totally agree, because in every, I guess, relationship, there's always like a giver and a receiver, right? Like there's always a receptive energy and a giving energy. And someone who's just naturally a giver or people pleaser, they're giving something, and then the narcissist is taking, right? So taking like full responsibility, who it is that we entertain in our life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's say someone is a people pleaser, and they can say, "Oh, I was gaslit. My ex was a narcissist," right? That was a buzzword for a long time, right? Everybody ex is a narcissist, but I digress.
it's still
And
it's still in my vocab, but yeah.
yeah, I've been in a relationship for 8 years, but 8 years you resonated on this. Let's take responsibility now,
Yeah.
right? Eight
Right.
years. Y'all been doing this dance
You
for
and
8 years.
right.
Oh, okay. So it's like, um, well, you were talking about being the people can take advantage of
Yeah.
you being emotional.
Hmm. Hmm.
So at the same time, you cannot control other people. You can only control one person in this entire world, right? And that's yourself. So at the same time, it's very easy to just say you and point the finger at somebody. Just knowing, if you know a spade is a spade,
Hmm.
it's up to you to move forward, and how are you going to move, right? That's It's up to you to know what to do next. So when you know yourself, like, okay, I tend to be over emotional sometimes,
Hmm.
let me regulate that, and let me be discerning of who it is I let in my circle, let in my space, let it close to my heart, right? And
Hmm.
then should be able to discern and read people, because you're so in tune with yourself. You can know the real from the counterfeit. If it don't fit with you, if it doesn't feel real, if it doesn't feel genuine,
Right.
then it's up to you to exit stage left again, because you're going to control yourself. So it comes right back to self responsibility, because you cannot control
Yeah.
anybody else.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Yeah, it does go back to, yeah, self-awareness too, and trusting your intuition and what you feel. Like, if you feel like something off, or you feel like you being drained after you talk to this person, or being emotional all the time around a certain person, it, like you said, it goes back to self and taking accountability for that. But sometimes, like, I had to learn a lesson. I had to get bit for me to see it, to see to see that, to understand that. And I know that's what some other people are going through, which is another reason why I do want to, you know, did want to touch on that, and bring some type of awareness to it, because it is a thing, and yeah, so I care, and so yeah.
I, I love you so much. You said so, yeah. Um, What comes to mind now is sometimes people have this, I guess, stereotypical idea of just femininity, having a really high pitched voice and wearing, frillies and bows. And no, that's one way that femininity manifests, right? For sure, that's feminine, but that's not femininity and feminine energy as a blanket statement. It absolutely is not. You
Right.
know, there's a there's a toxic. We've heard of toxic masculinity. We know what that is. We know what that looks like. But
Mhm.
there's a toxic femininity too, and that's being passive. That's being docile, not standing up for yourself, not tapping into your dark femininity, which is boundaries, standards, you know what I mean? And there's another flip side to that, which is just like using your feminine, what's it, feminine roles, feminine wows, using that negatively and seducing, you know what I mean? Like negatively,
Right.
okay? Using
Mhm.
your powers for evil, okay? So
Mhm.
that's another side. So
Mhm.
that's toxic femininity as well. So
Mhm.
I say that to say this. Um it's so beautiful to tap into your feminine energy, ladies. Like it really is, to have intuition, to trust yourself, baby. Like you don't have to trust nobody else, and you trust yourself, because when you trust yourself, it's like I trust who I allow in my life. I trust who it is that I discern to be in my space. I trust who
Mhm.
I resonate with because my energy is so pure. I trust, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
when you tap into your feminine energy, not just the exterior, like not just, getting your hair done and your nails and makeup and self-care, which I love that all the girlies are into these days, but that's just self-maintenance. Really, like self-care is internal. Check in with yourself. Like did we, what we do toward our goals? Like, are you that girl or not? Let's hold myself accountable. What did I do today? Like, did I take care of my hygiene? Like, how's my mental hygiene? How am I feeling? You
Right.
know, that's
Mhm.
self-care. So all of that, it wraps all together with femininity, and then the byproduct is attracting, a beautiful masculine man
Yeah.
with protective energy and provider energy. That's the byproduct. The byproduct is presenting as feminine and just feeling like that girl because you are. And nobody in
Right.
this world is like you. You are one of one. So just wanted
Right.
to put that there.
Yeah, I love that. And that is so true. Like it is your power. Like femininity is some true power. Okay.
Super power.
Like it's an energy. Like you step in the room, it can shift. You know what I'm saying? It's literally that powerful. And you don't even have to say nothing, look a certain way or anything. Like I said, it's an energy and it is respected when you're
Yeah.
solid in it, and I agree. It is not about it is not about how you look. Well, to a certain extent. I mean, you gotta look nice. I mean, however as far as like you don't have to wear pink and all this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
For me, because I have many layers.
Hmm.
Be real feminine, and like I tell some folks, hey, I can be a real one too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's layers. It's just being yourself and knowing who you truly are and having those boundaries, and people will feel it. It's nothing that even need to be spoken on, you know,
Hmm.
and it can take you places, and life just be so much easier and comfortable and safe, and it all starts with you in your heart. So but like you said, to me it does take maintenance. It's just not, oh, okay, I'm it takes maintenance. Sometimes you may have to study it a little bit. Sometimes you can kind of move out of it, and especially if you're working really, really hard, and take home that masculine energy with you, and just become so doing, and don't have no time to rest. Like that's one of the big things that's really big. Like for
Hmm.
myself is resting,
Hmm.
because that's how I can get back in flowing with my creativity or whatever. So, but yeah, so I just wanted to put that out there as a button under what you said.
For
So,
sure.
if anybody have, I see, Y'all forgive me. This is my first time if he wasn't constantly picking up the phone, Jasmine. Okay, the all of that would be cool if he wasn't constantly picking up the phone. I know that's right, and like we touched on that. Like you gotta use your intuition with that. If you see that's going on to continue flowing in your femininity, say your boundaries. Hey, I'm not comfortable with you. What's going on? Communicate so you can
Mm-hmm.
continue flowing. And if something like come from that where it don't meet your standard, then it's time to go. And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
You continue to flow in your femininity in the car. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly. And
that's how that would be handled. Hmm.
and really quickly, that just reminded me of like certain people have this like this saying of, oh, I'm in my masculine, or I'm an alpha woman until the right man come around, then I could be that soft, frilly, gooey feminine woman.
Hmm.
And that sounds good until you actually know what feminine energy and femininity is, and then you just like, wait a minute, let's break that down, let's dissect that really quickly. So if it was flip mode, and flipped on its head, then if a masculine man say, oh, I'm in my soft man era right now, but you know until like a soft feminine woman comes, then I'll be a provider, then I'll be a protector. That sounds nuts, do it not?
Right.
Exactly. So if you're a feminine woman, you're a feminine woman for yourself, and then everyone else being attracted to you, that's a byproduct,
Mhm.
literally. So it's not, oh, I'm an alpha woman, which is cool. At the same time, what do you want? You know what I mean? If this is the result that you're getting being an alpha woman, and you want to attract a masculine man, but your energy is too similar, so you're bumping heads, like what's the end result that you want? And it'll be wise. It'll just be wise, as a suggestion, to tap more into your feminine energy and see what that looks like. Try it on, see if that's you. Okay. Even though we all got it in us because we're a woman, that's just how we're built. Okay. Even our physical anatomy, we're meant to receive. That's an energy that's dominant within us. But,
Right.
some of us have been in survival situations where understood, and you can't change, a tiger stripes overnight. Understood. But first step is acknowledging something, and then you can move forward. That's all.
Right, absolutely. And that's fun. I never thought about that like that, how you said like flip it for a man to do that or whatever.
Flip
But
mode.
I just wanted to just mention this, even though we talk about femininity, but one thing that we had touched on that, both men and women, we both have, feminine and masculine energies in us or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I like in my acting class, whatever, sometimes I ask a couple of guys now, are you in touch with your feminine side? But I realized like that's something that makes a masculine man divine is when he's in touch with some of his feminine side. And I ain't talking about dancing in the mirror. I ain't talking about stuff
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah,
that.
eyebrows done and
Yeah.
fingernails. No,
But if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do.
that's
But
self maintenance.
yeah, but I mean, like as far as like having emotions, if you feel some type of way about something, emotional about some shit,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing wrong with that. It's very, very beautiful when I see men in touch with their feminine side, and and for me, I love sometimes being in my having that sprinkled that like you said from the yin and the yang in my like I need that masculine energy, especially to get things done, especially to have set this up. This my first time going live, and I had to tap into that masculine. Okay, I had to put it
Mm-hmm.
out on it there and get that
Exactly.
in. So but guys, so Jasmine do have a book called
The 10 feminine lady commandments, y'all.
mhm,
And I just want to read you what the 10 commandments are, just so you can get an idea for it. And then Candace can touch on how you can get your hands on this book. Okay. So the first commandment is thou shalt cultivate a relationship with God. And yes, this is in hierarchy. This is the order. according to how I feel. Okay. Secondly, is thou shalt take care of health. Thou shalt graciously receive. Yes, child. Thou shalt choose harmony. Thou shalt have mystique. Thou shalt respond. We touched on that earlier. And thou shalt have a pleasing personality. We have three more. Thou shalt have standards and boundaries. That's that dark feminine energy. Stand on business. Okay.
Mhm.
Thou shalt have orderliness. And thou shalt be a wise follower. So those are the chapters. And Candace, how can they get their hands on this ebook?
Yes, so guys, Jazz is sewing into whoever would like it is digital, so whoever would like a copy, just make sure you comment, give me some feedback or comment on the Drop Your Weapon short film and let me know what you thought about it and share it if you want to. But more so drop a comment and and you can post here if you would like a copy. I'm telling you, if it is so worth it, and it's eye
Thank you.
opening. It's good for us women to look at these things, and study it if it's not fully in us, So yeah, so do that if you want to copy. Okay, and well, I guess
Did you want to take any questions from
oh,
a,
let me
a
see.
comment?
I don't even see, like, I don't even know if I'm on YouTube or what. I don't see any questions.
You don't see any comments on YouTube? You
Uh
guys, if you have any questions, drop it in the comment box and we can answer it really quickly before we wrap it up because time flies. It's been 40 minutes. It don't even
oh,
feel like it.
this show don't.
And
Okay.
you were so nervous. See, look at that.
Look, right. But I don't see anyone, and yeah. Yeah. So, well, if you want to drop a comment, even after it's over, I will go back and
Mhm.
respond. And everyone, make sure you like and subscribe because I do have more content coming. And like I said, I'm just going to end this here. Thank you again, Jasmine, for sharing your wisdom around femininity. And I hope it touched someone. And everyone else, thank you for watching. And that's the end of the show for now.
We
Bye.
need some applause. Bye, everybody.
Bye.